My Lords, I rise to speak to this group of amendments to which my noble friend Baroness Jones of Molscombe attached her name to Amendment 125, which has broad cross-party support. Looking at, there's lots of different ways of approaching the same problem here, I think. And in some ways it seems to me that 125, that minimises the offence down to making it only if it's done for financial gain, is one way of coming at this. But I think what we can see from the number of amendments in this, and I'm not, Your Lordship's House, will you please, the committee will be pleased to know I'm not going to run through them all. There's a huge amount of concern about this. And I think it's a real pity. We look at some of the people who've signed some of these amendments. It's a pity that they're not able to be here tonight for a variety of reasons. And I'm going to quote the noble and gallant Lord West, who's on the record as saying, looking at the whole issue of pushbacks, which are called for being denied, someone is likely to end up dead, close quote. And that is the reality of what we're talking about here. And the noble lady Baroness Jolly referred to the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea. Every state is required to render assistance to any person found at sea in danger of being lost, must proceed with all possible speed to the rescue of persons in distress. I don't think there's any way that pushback can be lined up with that. But I think it's interesting that in this group of amendments is one signed by the noble and gallant Lord, which says nothing in this paragraph authorises any action or measure which is inconsistent with international legal obligations. My Lords, what conditions have we got to that we have to write an amendment saying we will follow international law? My Lords, I don't know which one of these is the right one. In some ways, 132A would seem to cover it. Let's obey international law. But as the noble Lord Coker said in his very energetic introduction, and I just want to come back to one more point, and it's not just the ministers who appear to be disagreeing with different parts of the government. There was actually a tweet from the MOD 5 days ago. The Royal Navy and the Royal Marines will not be using pushback tactics in the English Channel. Now that I can only applaud. However, I find the next part of the tweet very curious. Although a military commander will retain the existing ability to instruct border force to use them when appropriate. Now, I come back to the point about not breaking international law and saying something's unacceptable for the Navy but is acceptable for the border force under the instructions of the Navy. As the noble Lord Coker said, what an absolute disgraceful mess we're in.